Yeah, guys, keep a lookout for whenever we do end up covering it. Gonna be honest with y'all, if I'm able to go watch this in the theaters this week, that's how we're gonna watch it. What's going on, Reject Nation? Greg and John here. Today we are going to watch Godzilla vs. Kong. Cinemark theaters in LA are open. Again, my mask is falling off. It's important that you keep your mask on. You understand? Keep it on. You gotta obey the rules here if you want to enjoy the big screen. But John, tell me how it works.
All right, well, basically, because things are slowly opening up, Cinemark is offering private screenings. So for $99, you can come screen yourself and up to 20 people a classic film, or for $149, you can screen a new release like friggin' Godzilla vs. Kong.
So you can book this instantly online through the website. You can bring up to 20 guests at least. As a matter of fact, we should take a preview inside of our friends really quick. There's these two. You might recognize them. They're famous in India. This is a private screening room. These are all my friends.
He pays us well.
You can be as loud as you want because it's your own private screening room. So screw everyone. But I swear to God, if all of you guys talk during this movie, I'm gonna throw a bitch fit. Do you understand?
Shut up!
Wow, we can talk like that here. That's how you promote Cinemark.
Come and be rude at the movie.
Come be rude to your friends in the theaters today. None of them are amused by our behavior right now. All right, so after this movie, we are going to give our quick review on it. But I'm just so happy we got to see it in the theater because it's Godzilla vs. Kong. I can't believe we're back here. This is so exciting. All right, guys, let's do it. All right, before our opinion, we're gonna go around the group little by little. Everyone's kind of nervous right now. The camera's on me, guys. Everyone's really tense right now. Everyone's really tense. Everyone's poking. All right. What'd you think? What'd you think? No spoilers.
I really liked it. I think, we all came to see Titans fight, and it happened, and it was great.
I liked it a lot. I did not like the human element, but the monsters were a lot of fun. The Cinemark experience was pretty damn cool.
Daniel, this is Daniel Melgar.
Hi.
I knew him when he was a baby.
I didn't really know what to expect coming in. I should have, even though it's Godzilla, but I thought it was great.
Awesome.
Hey, yeah, like Jabby said, I think the human element was the weakest part. We're 3 movies in, so what do you expect? The monster stuff was cool.
Yo, I walked in as a Godzilla fan and I exited that movie like Donkey Kong all the way.
I disagree with everyone. We all came to watch humans interacting with each other, okay? It was a lot of fun. The action sequences were really cool, and there was actually a really good emotional touch between a certain Titan and another character in it that I really enjoyed, so it was really good.
Spoiler free, Andrew.
Yeah, it was a big old dumb fun. Got exactly what I expected. Monsters gonna be monsters, man.
That was the devastation of Hong Kong and the worst tragedy for them.
Your opinion matters the most. That's all you gotta say right there. That's all you gotta say.
It was a ton of fun. After I got to just see it and stay tuned.
It was crazy fun, but I would have to, you have to watch it in theaters. Don't watch it on HBO Max. You gotta hear it loud and see all of the beautiful animation.
It was very loud, a lot of destruction, super fun. It made me cry, but I really liked it. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, ending on the heart. Thank you, guys. All right, now that we got all their opinions, variety out of the way, this movie was almost exactly what I wanted it to be. I don't want to spoil anything, but in terms of going in a theater experience, it was 100% worth it. I mean that sincerely. You see the trailers, you know this is the way to watch the movie.
This is made for this experience.
And the finale, this movie was a lot more bonkers, weird.
It's got a real snappy rhythm about it, and it takes like the other previous movies have some fun bone-crunching monster action, but this one really dialed up the attitude on it just the right amount to where it's got a little bit more fun for the intensity without falling directly into like, oh, it's a little too much, you know?
There's a couple of humans I liked. I liked the little girl. I kind of liked Alexander Skarsgård. I think you really like Brian Tyree Henry.
Yeah, I got a kick out of him, and the kid from Wilder People.
But for the most part, the humans were pretty boring. But
it's a Godzilla Kong movie. You know, the humans aren't what you're here for. Well, although they didn't aggravate me as much as previous films, so I'll give it that.
I don't know. I thought the humans were a little bit more the most boring they've ever been, but the movie itself was just so bizarre and strange. The thing I showed up for was awesome, and I think a lot of people thought that the trailers ruined too much and everything. There were a lot of things that are not in the trailers. Yeah. There's a lot that's not in the trailers that was really visually great to look at, and a lot of surprises.
You'll get to a point where you're like, oh damn, I'm out of trailer footage now. I don't know what to expect.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, it gave me everything I wanted pretty much.
Oh yeah, if you're here for a kaiju movie, you're gonna get what you want.
I thought even though the humans sucked, the thing you showed up for, especially that finale, we were all cheering. Especially in a private room, you could actually really cheer and you won't feel like you're disrupting people.
Yeah, and I actually, this is a weird thing to say, but I actually cared about you know, Kong and Godzilla and their relation to the fight, not just that they were fighting and that it was cool.
True.
That makes sense. Whereas King of the Monsters, I was just like, fight, do cool stuff. Whereas this one, I actually cared about both.
I think they've actually made Kong rather human. Like he gave him a lot of depth and humanity. I felt like they gave a lot of that to Kong. I really cared about it. I felt pretty bad because I've been Team Godzilla since day one. But I was like,
I walked out.
I really care for him.
Happy everyone who played had a good time.
Yeah. If you're able to go into like a Cinemark or in a private room, go to a theater, it's absolutely the best way to watch it. Because yeah, everything you wanted from the trailers, it delivers, and there were plenty of surprises. This was the way to watch it in the theaters for sure.
Absolutely.
Not just saying that because we got offered to do this. It's the way to do it. It's the way to watch it. Thank you, Cinemark and WB. What's up, guys? So we just got back from the movie theater. This is like the first time in a long time we've been to the movie theater, and we got friends there, and then we're just like, okay, let's just give our instant thoughts. So everything's just working off of like our final moments and the exact feelings. So everything we said there was, you know, we absolutely meant it. But I was like, we should probably elaborate a little bit more. You know,
had some time to take it in.
After a 45-minute car ride, talked about some things in the car ride, and we have to film some other stuff. But before we go and film the other stuff, I was like, let's just sit down and chat with the audience about our feelings on this. After thinking about it a little bit more, I mean, I gotta say, yeah, the movie's fucking really entertaining. It's like so entertaining.
It was a blast of its time for sure.
Because the weirdly conflicted feeling I was having on the car ride back was, why am I so forgiving on the human character sucking this time around? Whereas like the other ones that seem to be such a detriment for me. And I think it's because the filmmakers this time around knew the humans sucked. No one likes them. No one really cares about them. That's not why people are showing up here for. So let's just get the necessities out of the way for whatever we got to establish about them to get an ABC plot moving forward so we can mix it in with some great kaiju action throughout. I think that's the main thing that was different about why it's easier to be forgiving with the human character sucking, because this is like a really expensive, wonderfully shot, visually realized B movie. You know?
Yeah, it has some like fantasy elements. There are elements that even reminded me of like old Ray Harryhausen things with the colors and the creatures they bring in. Don't want to spoil too much, but if you've seen the trailers, those were really well realized and really gorgeous to like really dazzling. And I think that's an element I wasn't expecting, is like, you know, you're gonna get Kong and Godzilla destroying buildings, destroying familiar looking stuff, but there's an element, of fantasy and tone to this movie that the previous couple haven't necessarily had. The human characters, I gotta say, I think what the key to them sucking less this time is like, you go back to King of the Monsters, I thought those characters were actually tedious to spend time with, whereas here, they're not too caught up on making us care too much or making that scene too dire or anything like that. They know they're not making a drama, and so the characters on the human side are all over the place, but there are some fun shades, and especially through Kong, like we've seen in those TV spots, there is some actual, not gravitas is probably the wrong word, some tone that is endearing and kind of melancholy to get latched into. So there's also sort of that wonder that almost made me think back to like Mothra, those moments in King of the Monsters that have that sort of like awe-struck quality for the kaiju, as well as all the bone and building crunching, you know?
Exactly. I mean, I think the little girl does a really great job in here. I mean, like, that was my favorite. In terms of the human aspect, in terms of character scenes, it allows you to really make Kong a character in this film. All right, guys, while I'm slicing and dicing this, I gotta just interrupt really quick to mention something I forgot to mention, which was Millie Bobby Brown, Brian Tyree Henry, and whoever the kid is that plays Russell in Deadpool 2 that's in this movie now. Their plot line was so boring. It's been a long time since I've seen a movie where so much of the film I found myself quoting Ryan George saying super easy, barely an inconvenience, as they walk through what I call the Hall of Expositions. Yes, the human characters, for the most part, not that great in here. But the part that actually was like, okay, this is really boring, was when we would kind of check in with those characters. But still, it's a damn good time. I think one part that kind of, it feels a little bit left out for me, they didn't really take opportunity to make Godzilla a character here. He's kind of just here in like the action scenes.
He's over it. He's frustrated.
You know, because he's taking on the, you know, the why is he attacking role, the villainous side. With Kong, though, he's like the main character of this film. And I think in the, without spoiling the film, in the last half of this movie is where most of the surprises really came into play. I think when you see the trailers, you might feel like you've seen too much or everything, and you really haven't. And the last half especially, that's where a lot of what John was talking about with these like beautiful moments and really just getting to spend time with Kong and some other Titans as well. It really helps build out the MonsterVerse world that much more. Kong, even though I'm not Team Kong, even though I wasn't rooting for him with my friends and before I declared my stance before I ever saw this movie, I really found I cared about him still. Like I cared about that. If there's any character I cared about genuinely, it was actually Kong. So it made for a conflicting experience for me at times.
Yeah, Kong has an actual journey in this movie, and again, like so much of the tone that is beautiful and exhilarating in the movie comes through his character.
And the little girl is great. I feel like Brian Tyree Henry, I think that's where some people might be a little split on, is because Brian Tyree Henry, I thought he was kind of annoying at times. I think you really enjoyed him actually, and I feel like a lot of people, like even with our group, they were mixed on him. Some people really enjoyed him and some people really didn't. I think the actors are all fine. It's just like they are like the dull part of it. Yeah, I mean, if you find them fun, you find them fun, but I kind of was like, let's just get to the fun stuff. And I think the fun stuff is really in there throughout. The fight scenes are incredibly realized. The visual effects are dazzling there. It's the best fights out of any of the MonsterVerse movies. The choreography of them, and there's some unique things that they do in Adam Wingard's direction on where he sometimes chooses like to mount cameras. Yes, the visual effects look great, yet I think one complaint with King of the Monsters was how like there was so much weather involved and so many shaky cam that at times you couldn't tell what was going on, and everything was clear. There's multiple fight scenes in this movie and the fights just get better and better and better. And yes, there's a character who a lot of people figured out from the day the first trailer was released was going to be in here. If you don't know who that is, I won't say it. I feel like by this point everyone already does, but when that character's in here, holy shit, that was incredible. It was incredible. Last half is when it just becomes like, oh, this is the movie for the monsters, you know? Exactly. Yet the stakes were still felt. It knew what it was. It just wanted to be an entertaining flick, and I'm glad we saw it in the theaters. I think it's the best way to experience it. I think if you have an opportunity to see it in the theaters, do it. At home, try to at least watch it with headphones on. Like, get one of those things going. If you can set it up on a big TV, if you can get like Bluetooth headphones for it, if you have a PlayStation, plug it into there. But if you can watch it in the theaters, do it. That's the best way to do it, undoubtedly. This film delivered, knows what it is. I had a great time.
You'll be a happy monster fan.
See you, Reject Nation.